What's up, everybody? Today I've got for you a trophy league in one of the most challenging 5-match gauntlets I think I've ever gone through. So I had to make a little intro here to come in, show you the list before we get started because I might have forgotten to do one for the actual video. Either way, this is the current Dimir Oculus list. I'm running the main board 60. I think it's been pretty stable outside of like maybe a card or two over the last couple months, really. The sideboard, just trying out some extra pieces of interaction like the Mystical Dispute for the uptick in Grixis Shadow and Grixis Wizards that we're seeing in the leagues. Trying out a Shieldred's Edict as an additional piece of interaction. Illness in the ranks for some of the cat tokens and Eldrazi spawn tokens running around. And just trying to get an idea of where the meta is heading in the current environment so we can make some predictions and have a better tuned sideboard when the big events come up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and quote unquote hop into it. As always, don't forget, if you like the video, consider leaving a like, maybe subbing to the YouTube channel, or coming and checking out a live stream. Links down below to everything you need to find, especially the Discord, so you can come ask questions or see other iterations of the archetype. So without, again, I guess without further ado, let's hop into it. Confirmed, it was said. Talking like Boomer, no Saga. What do you think Boomer Jund is if not no Saga Jund? That is the definition of Boomer Jund. No Ren has to have Bobs. Exactly. Boomer Jund. Portent, Force of Negation, Chalice. I don't really care about Chalice if I'm going in on Murktide. So I think I'm just taking the Portent. Kids these days don't even know what a Bob is. Dude, do you have any idea how annoyed I was with the world when I saw that Bob Mayer qualified for a Pro Tour and was not playing Dark Confidant in Standard, despite being legal? I have never been so angry in my life. Completely unjustifiably so, but still. The man, the myth, the legend qualifies for a Pro Tour in which Dark Confidant is legal and does not play it. All right, well, Force Negation is going to be live one way or the other. A counter for this? What is today? Condescend? That wasn't in your hand. That was not in your hand at all. Don't lie to me. Condescend. The phrase for today is nice guys finish last for the courtesy scoop to Amulet. That's fair. I'll concede that one.
and that game. Blue Tron is always the deck that just sends you home when you're on full tilt. Nah. I don't think I'm like tilted. Usually the way I look at it is there's statistical likelihoods for most plays in Magic. And the statistical likelihood of my opponent like ripping the 10 mana Eldrazi to be able to turn 1 Chalice is fairly low. And then also hitting the counter spell and one of their like 2 blind draws. It's low. I feel like I made good decisions there. I'm not going to get upset about them. I know in the long run that those decisions will pay out. Here, the other weird destined to have a watery grave. It's my secret. I'm always on tilt. But that's my secret, Cap. I'm always on tilt. All right, who's ready to go all in on a frog? Going. 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 I don't need these. Cards are only holding me back. On descend, number 2. Sure. I guess we get the mystical dispute out of hand, and that's got to count for something. Carry on. All right, what do we think? Are we going for it? See, other people scoop too early too. It's not just me. Justice for Frog. Just got to assert discard dominance. Opponent mulligan to 6. Yeah, I thought they had a Kozilek's command, and I was just going to go all in on the frog, and they were going to pop it, exile. I was going to cry. Any sleeper decks you think are good in modern? Love Me a Rogue deck. Sleeper decks. Not that I can think of off the top of my head, mostly because any sleeper deck is kind of a known quantity. Mono white land destruction. You get that madness out of here. Do not speak to me of such things. Mono white land destruction is an abomination. Okay. Let's go discard an Oculus. Attack. To discard this Undercity Sewers and like second Unearth or third Unearth as well. Some damage in. See if this works. Show me the force. Okay. Opponent, you knew about first Unearth, and you even saw second Unearth, but what about third Unearth? How you get them? See, we threw away the first one, and they thought they were safe. Dude, how do you stock up and not get third Tron land? Kozilek's command. 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think it's worth it to not flip this other frog to make sure I have the guaranteed force of negation up instead of going for the flip and risking not hitting a blue card. Frogs. Frogs too good. Asking for sleeper decks while Grixis came out of nowhere. Grixis Shadow or Grixis Wizards or Grixis Pile. I don't know how that deck is doing well. I'm like, opponents get through their first turn. Or did they? Yeah, they skipped their first turn. They skipped through their first turn, and this is blink, and I get to counterspell an Overlord. It's gonna be disgusting. Bike ran pretty hot with Grixis Lutri today. I did see that, or I saw a couple games out of it. I'm just gonna pass through this turn. I've got like combo with Frog, discard Oculus, and unearth it. But if opponent goes like into turn, Felia, untap Overlord, blink Overlord, then I probably still just lose to that. We're committed now. About to have Frog, discard Oculus, Unearth plus counterspell up. Want card advantage, you can just put stock ups or brain surges into your deck. And you gotta pay 3 mana for your card advantage. Seems not fun. Why pay 3 mana when I could pay not 3 mana? Well, I was talking about for brain surge and stock up, not just Lutri. I'm not advocating for playing Lutri either. All right. Let's start off with that. Let's see what's going on. Haven Interrupter. Could just counterspell this. Don't really want to counterspell this. We'll let it go. Exile my Thoughtseize. Play a frog. Go. Well, I don't want to counter it because if I counter this, I just lose to Overlord. And that's like the thing I'm trying my best to not put myself in a position to losing to. Counter that one. That one. That one right there. Officer, that's the one. This is an outlaw. That's some bullshit. Pretty good one. My thought process was my opponents always have the ephemerate. Usually mine do, but I can't play around everything. So like I 100% know they have the Overlord. That's not even a question. They've got that one. So I might as well play around it and not play around the ephemerate that they could have. Oh, are you going to ephemerate my manifest token? Do it. Please, opponent, I need this in my life. I need this in my life so badly. Do it. Do it. Yes. Yes, queen. Yes. I needed that so badly. It's the little things in life that keep you getting up in the morning. And that was my little thing for the day. That was it. Life is better. Okay. I didn't see Aether Vial or Relic or Ketramos, which makes life a little tougher. I didn't see blue, so I'm assuming they're just Orzhov. We saw Aven Interrupter. I don't know if Aven Interrupter like means vial for sure. You not like 4 consign against blink? It depends on the build. Like if they're, it's a lot better into these high flicker wisp count builds, but the builds that are like low on flicker wisp, high on Felia, Ketramos, Ephemerate, it's not that great into those builds. Well, yeah, you can consign their thing on the way back in, and like that's the ideal time. But you also run into the fact that they get the first ETB off the thing if you do that. Like they get to resolve Overlord, and then you consign the Felia getting back the Overlord, but they still got the first activation of Overlord. So it's not a perfect one-for-one thing. Like a 1 for a half. Emperor, Flicker Wisp. Like, obviously, right here, I would really love to have a consign for this Flicker Wisp ETB. I'll see if World thinks similarly. Okay, so they've got Solitude, Ephemerate, Felia, Fatal Push. Don't have Delirium at the moment. I could get Murktide down and they would have to use up Solitude, Felia, and Ephemerate if they want to keep it around. Do in fact have a lot of large guys in our hand. Now they've got hard cast Solitude, which means I could really use ripping a Stern Scolding here. Alright, best I can do is more unearths. Not bad. Less ideal. Alright, so they do appear to be much higher on the Flicker Wisp Felia plan than I think most of the lists I've gone up against recently. Overcoming all of those solitudes. I think I will go up to the 4th consign against them. This is a terrible matchup for blue-black, right? Yeah, it's pretty not good. You can sometimes steal games. In build dependent, it can be better for like traditional Murktide versus Oculus. Alright, I am going to lead on Thoughtseize because I do not want my Thoughtseize getting Thoughtseized if they've got an Overlord. I can still have Spell Snare up on 2. Take lands. So I know they have an Ephemerate. They kept a card on top. Let failure resolve, because if they go for something that they want to blink, yeah, I can consign it. This enters, shoots me in the face. Yep. Gone thought. Do I want... Yeah, I think I do want the Emperor still. Such a good card in the matchup, and I get to go ahead and exile this Overlord so they can't Emperor that back. Okay. Okay, so I can get Oculus on the board this turn. They have one card in hand. I don't think there's a reason not to go for the Oculus. They discarded the Ephemerate to the Ward trigger, and that kind of makes me think that this last card is some payoff, like an Overlord or something kind of big. Flicker Wisp, my Solitude, or my Oculus. Delia blinks out the Manifest. They hit me for 6. But I get double Oculus in. Six is not dead. Okay. Worst case scenario would be their last card is an Ephemerate. Because I would not be able to beat them having Ephemerate on the Flicker Wisp end of turn. Untap, Flicker Wisp again on the other Oculus. And attack. I cannot beat an Ephemerate. If I Jace Brainstorm, I could hit like the flick. If I hit a consign, I could hit the Flicker Wisp ETB. All right, let's think. Option number one. We're playing Jace, because there's no reason not to play Jace. Option number one is Brainstorm. Thoughtseize is dead. Consign is about the best thing we can hit. Stern Scolding's okay. I think that's it. Jace bounce Felia. If we Jace bounce Felia, we can't Jace bounce Flicker Wisp unless we just are okay losing to Ephemerate. If we Jace bounce Felia and they Ephemerate Felia, they untap, Ephemerate Flicker Wisp, blink out an Oculus. Got another Oculus and 2 tokens. They Ephemerate the Flicker Wisp into turn. We may blink out an Oculus, untap, make a token. They blink out the other Oculus, but they can't attack in the air. Dude, they are F6'd. Means we could just try to high roll. They're 100% F6'd. Yep. All right, assuming this means some number of fatal pushes, or they're going for the Emperor next turn. If I ignore this, are they main phasing this? I was assuming because they had something else to follow it up with. We can flip up Trespasser, attack in, gain 1, deluge for 2. We lose to Bowmasters. But we wipe their board while they're tapped out. You're right. We can't. Damn it. Okay. I do need to eat the Flicker Wisp or the Thalia. I could bounce the Emperor. That would stop him from being able to get 2 things back. If I bounce this Emperor, there's no way I can kill them, is there? 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 on the Trespasser attack. 5, 10. Just short. All right, option number 1, blink the Emperor. Or bounce the Emperor. Flip Trespasser, attack. Exile the Flicker Wisp so that they can't get it back and have a flying attacker that gets something out of the way. Manifest over some dead stuff. I do have a flying blocker, but I don't want to be dead to something cheesy like Fatal Push a blocker, get back, Flicker Wisp, take out a blocker, attack in. Like, I'm getting into a really, really good board position. There's just like no reason to give my opponent a kind of cheesy out here to get it. And I can kind of just take an extra turn. Oaf McNamara coming in with the raid. Thank you. Welcome everybody from the raid. Hope you're all doing well. What were you playing? Thalia comes in. Thalia's doing what? Doesn't really have good Thalia attacks. Wrapped up the standard challenge. How'd it go? Like everybody I was playing in the modern challenge was double queuing in the standard one. Now we'll pay to flip up this frog. Also, is standard good right now? Because I've seen the mixed reviews of like everything being tribal Dimir after the bannings. VV deck, the VV Cauldron deck looks super sweet. Yeah, it's lethal in the air with the Psychic Frog. Just dotting T's and crossing I's before I do anything. They could have a Fatal Push. I've got that covered with the counter spell. So let's brainstorm first just to clear the way. Fly the frog. Attack. Card unearth. Bad matchups. Who? Yeah, welcome everybody from the raid. We're kind of in a little bit of a mental mental gymnastics match there to end against Orzhov. But we're currently 2-0 in this league. We dropped from the Modern Challenge at like 1-2, but this league's at least starting off pretty okay. Turn 2 Frog, discard Oculus. Turn 3 Unearth, maybe find a counter spell. Nooser Dog, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. If it is your first time on the channel, for anybody coming over from any of the raids recently, my name's Michael, control freak on Magic Online. Play almost exclusively modern, mostly Frog Tide, Oculus style decks. So if that's your jam, you were in the right spot. If it's not your jam, then hopefully we can make it your jam. Frog decks are great, regardless of what anybody on the internet tells you. Matchup not terrible if they don't have Overlord. It is a lot more manageable if they don't. That is completely accurate. Not thinking about attacking, are they? Surely not. Push is a really, really good draw. So I can go discard Oculus, unearth Oculus, discard extra land, fatal push the Ajani so I don't have to worry about like goblin bombardment. I want to attack in with the flying frog this turn, so that's why I'm trying to figure out all of my discards before combat, because I need like the unearth in the graveyard to be able to exile to the frog. Could also just discard this Murktide, like I'm not doing anything with it in the near future. Fact. I like that. Hop in with a chunky flying frog. Alt's pretty good for next turn. I do think I'm just going to go ahead and fatal push this Ajani. I don't really want to get caught in a spot where I go to like kill the Ajani in response to a bombardment and they respond to my kill spell with a galvanic discharge. I just like could have gotten the Ajani off the board guaranteed. What's the thinking of flying the frog there? If they chump with token or Ragavan, are we happy with it? Not really, because I want the card there. Like, I actively want an additional card in my hand. So I don't want to give them a chance to jump. Like, if they jump with a cat token, which I'm assuming they do, then I have to use the fatal push right there. I don't get to, like, hold and make the decision later. And the more times I have to act when my opponent, like, wants me to act, kind of the worse it is for me. I don't want to act when they want me to act. I want to act when I want to act. So 4, 9, we could hit them down to 2, 1 with the fetch. I don't think I'm going to put them down to 1 here. I think I'm just going to attack in for 10 in the air. Make both my threats next turn lethal. Really good draw. Now I think I'm pretty safe to Thoughtseize, and if they want to respond with like a discharge on a cat token, I can fatal push the Ajani. Or that. But I think this game's kind of wrapped. Pyro in the yard. Blage that we have to take. Brutal. They had no arena currently. So play my fetch, pass it, have a fatal push for a Flage if they do happen to find an arena. But I guess even if they find an arena, they can't play it and escape Flage because they don't have the cards necessary. So I think we're okay. Marsh Flats was their draw for turn, so this is escape Flage. They die in the air to some number of derpy gentlemen on the ground. If they go to Flage their own cat token, I will respond with fatal push the Ajani. Take 4. Age is escaped. Surveil first, give them hope. Surveil with the Flage target on the stack. They are going to go after their token. That dies. I'll respond with fatal push. The Ajani turns over, game's over, blah, 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 blah. Sweet. Game 2. Got EE, got Nihil Spellbomb, Deluge, Edict, Illness in the ranks that I keep putting in my sideboard, but have just never drawn in a single game. So we'll see if we get to break that curse, maybe. Optimistic, at least a little bit. Raw. I just want to Illness a big Ocelot Pride board. One time. Feel like that's not asking too much. Manny, Smani, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. So this hand is completely dependent on Thought Scour hitting something, which I don't think is where I want to be. Basically like a mull to 6 already. The second Unearth isn't doing anything. And I'd rather find a hand with like a Fatal Push. Awful. Yeah. Throw that back pretty quick too. Passable. EE, counterspell, shoot. I've got to throw 2 back. Throw back Oculus. Ways off of that. I kind of want to keep the 3rd land, so I think I'm going to throw back the counterspell. I can't hit like a Goblin Bombardment on the draw anyway, so... Gonna keep that on top. I know I can discard it and unearth if I wanted to, but I wouldn't be doing anything with that extra mana anyway. So it makes more sense that if the board is kind of clear to just hard cast the frog next turn and be able to unearth it if they kill it instead of like wasting the unearth here. Is the bombardment. Okay. So option number 1, play out the frog pass. Option number 2, hold up, shoot the sheriff. Be really good into an Ajani. Option number 3, engineered explosives on 2. Means I would take 1, 2, 3 off of the Ajani plus Guide of Souls. Land pass. Hold up, shoot. I think Ajani flipping is too big of a deal here. They go for something like Spyro. I might just shoot the sheriff, the Guide of Souls. Okay. I see. Get island, play out our EE on 1, pass back. Probably have to tank a hit off of this Ragavan. Because again, I don't want them having an Ajani free and clear.
Yep. Shoot this now. Pray there's not a second copy of a Johnny in my future. That would bite. Down to 11. Opponent's got 2 mana. Nothing. Okay. 2 mana for nothing. Really good for us. I think I am just going to jam this frog. Am I going to jam the frog? I'd have to pop EE first. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just passing. Plan on knock out the EE plus consider. I think that's a little bit better than just main phasing the EE plus frog. Plus, it definitely looks like I'm repping Counterspell. Still inside of damage. Have a Flage. Not a Flage. Carrion Conqueror. Okay, I think I have to draw an Oculus here. That doesn't do it, right? Because I frog block, Murktide block, 2 gets around, ping me for 4. Yeah. Go to game 3. Seems like Icecrown Scepter Orm's Chant combo is mean versus black-white blink. I could see that. I think they would like have to have a Flicker Wisp out on board early, right? So that they could respond to the Isochron Scepter. Like, they could play out a Witch Enchanter as a land, respond to like an Isochron Scepter with Ephemerate a Flicker Wisp, blink the land, blow it up, but not like the most popular potential line out there. I don't think I'm changing anything up. All I saw was Clarion Conqueror. That and just don't mold a 5.
Opponent mold to 6 instead of us. Good first step. Gonna go for an island and a thought scour here, because I would like to cast both of these thought scours and try to flip over something to unearth right away. Of course, we do not. Another frog trophy. Someone stop him. Who trophied? You did? Congrats, if so. Of the massive brain to play frog tide leagues. I don't believe that. All right, we need to find an engineered explosives or something pretty quick. We'll keep that because it's a blue card for force of negation. So worst case scenario, we do just have hard cast Oculus plus force. Might get us somewhere. Where's those Izzet static casters that Mark suggested when we need them? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Clarion Conqueror, sure. No activated abilities at this time. But we should still be able to manifest. That's not an activated ability. I think I'm just gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They don't have City's Blessing at the moment. Don't want to tap off of Counterspell, but I kind of want to attack him with this Oculus. Probably just a little greedy. Binning 2 fatal pushes and a toxic deluge, though, does not feel fun. So this would give them the city's blessing. I feel like I can't win if they have this plus a creature. Go for a consider first. Maybe I find a fatal push. That's the one we want to hit. Suicide in a cat to get the other cat online. Well, I can't draw Toxic Deluge because my Toxic Deluge is in the graveyard off an Oculus. So I need to find engineered explosives. Or just like, if I can find a removal spell for this cat soon enough, then that's like good enough. But if I don't find a removal spell for that cat, I'm in some trouble. Okay, so I have to flip Graveyard Trespasser, attack in, exile the Spyro. And then if they block with everything, I just unearth it. That better than casting Murktide here? I could go like Unearth, Frog, Murktide, Pass. Attack for 5 with the Oculus. That might be better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with Unearth. By attacking with the Oculus, they don't block. Go to 16. I get a huge Murktide. Now, exile the Spyro from the yard. I do think I'm attacking with the Oculus and the Trespasser. Yep. Mess of cats off the board. Unearth. Trespasser. Other cat. So if they like flage or something to take out my Trespasser, I can unearth it again to hit the flage. Got force up. Put a card on top. Don't have good attacks because, or I guess I can attack with that, sure. Or whatever. Okay. What would they put on top at this point? I'm attacking in with everything because it forces at least one chump. This is 5, so they're at 8. This is, if I exile my frog, their ocelot. They're at 6 before blocks. So they have to block the graveyard glutton. Or both the tokens. Then I get post-combat Murktide. With the old math is for blockers. And it is giving up the Ocelot Pride. Gain a life. Go to 1. Didn't have anything I could flip up, so let's play a big Murktide and hope that's enough. Right, cling to dust in the yard gives us a way to grow the Murktide even more. Down with Boros. All right, getting your money's worth out of games, truth. Why not go to game 3 every single time to make sure that we're getting our moto practice in? Not taking advantage of it when time's on the line. Okay, I got my last modern RCQ of the season is coming up this Saturday. And I don't really know what I want to play. I think I might go out on a limb and play the Grixis Wizards deck. Assuming my last Snapcaster comes in on time. I think I might do that. Haven't decided 100% yet, but it would be fun. But I might obviously try to put like my own spin on it between now and then. I have a problem with Oculus. I played it for almost 2 series, and it gave me the feeling that if it does its play on Earth Oculus, it can win games. Is that a problem? Okay, you added the problem after the fact. I was like, oh, it feels like if it unearths Oculus, it wins games. Like, yeah, that's kind of the purpose of running Unearth and Oculus in the same deck. If it doesn't, the deck is really unreliable and also kind of bad. See, I think that there is a slight misconception there. I think that if you don't do the thing, like if you don't do the flip over an Oculus, unearth it, or you don't have just like an insanely explosive broken start, I think the deck is still good in certain metas as a fair Murktide deck. But I definitely agree that it's harder to win in those spots. Is this prowess? Oh boy. I agree that it's a lot harder to win in those spots where you're not doing something broken and unfair. So I get that. I do think the deck does like a reasonable Murktide impression into any fair matchups. The part that usually gives trouble is if you're playing against something unfair. It's a lot worse. Probably have to just shoot this Tameo. I don't want to, but I also like don't want them to have Flame of Anor here. If I was gonna say if they have force into like untap Flame of Anor, so be it. I tried. GG's. Go next. I think Unearth is a reasonable card. I do agree with Thought Scour being really bad, but if you're not running Thought Scour, I don't think you can play like Unearth and to a lesser extent Oculus. The opponent lets my Graveyard Trespasser resolve. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was about to get Splinter Twin there for half a second. I was like pretty convinced that they were about to go in-step Deceiver Exarch, untap Splinter Twin. That was going to be a little bit sad. All right, well, I think we do have to jam a Murktide, even though pretty good chance this is Counterspell up. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know what my opponent has got. Blood Maw, why are you playing this card? Still think Jace is worth in sideboard slot and Esper. It's fine. Like, I like Jace. I think it does the... I gotta be very, very careful how I answer questions because people get like really, really strung up on specifics if I say the wrong thing. Jace is in there for a very specific purpose, and that's being a non-solituded threat against Orzhov. It fulfills that role very, very good. But if that's not the role you're looking for out of that slot, then you're not going to be happy playing Jace. I think it's better against black white than control. I agree. That's what it's there for. It is there to be anti black white. It's not there to be anti control. Third man, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Okay, I guess we're going to start going after sorceries and something that might get snapcastered back that would annoy me. Cast an Oculus here. Do need to find something to either deal with this Tamio sooner rather than later or Oculus onto the battlefield. They counterspell off Thundertrap Trainer. The likelihood of anything resolving in the near future is slightly diminished. But as far as the Jace versus Kaito comparison goes, remember that if you play out your Kaito, you get to stun one thing, and then you got to start ticking up. If you play out Jace, you get to unsummon two things before you have to start ticking up. The zero seeing three cards, potentially shuffling away, like actually brainstorming instead of Surveil 2 draw a card is pretty significantly different. Gotta go for this flip on Tamio eventually, right? So if I let you target one of these, pay the ward. Opponent did not pay the ward. Okay. Like, I think Jace is better onto an empty board than Kaito, but Kaito's a little bit better at, like, creating something, like stunning down a blocker, getting Kaito going. Plus, ninjutsuing it for 3 is a really big deal. All right, got Flip Tamio. Going to cast an Oculus and see what happens. Flame of Anor is a very, very annoying card for Oculus to overcome. The fact that it deals 5 exactly for the red decks is tough. But them having Flame of Anor and Unholy Heat in the main, also pretty rough. I know Children's Edict both deal with Flip Tamio, Stern Scolding, Mystical Dispute for stuff on the stack, Nihil Spellbomb to help out with the Delirium, Kaito, Jace are both tough to deal with. I do not want what? Brave stuff. Couple forces. That put a lot less reliance on the graveyard. I don't know what they're going to be boarding in. They could be Grave Hate related, but kind of just don't have to go too heavy into the grave stuff. Really hope they have a Tamio on one so I can push into untap Frog. I think I want another push. All right, we jamming. Frog resolving is a blessing from the gods in a format where Spell Snare, Stern Scolding, Mystical Dispute are all playable Magic cards. Trap is fine. The Mishra's Bauble. Alright. I'm just gonna go ahead and fatal push this to make sure I can get my attack in. Esper's still alive. You mean in the challenge? Nah. Yeah, we scrubbed out of the challenge. We're currently 3-0 in this league, though, with Dimir. I know that's not quite Esper, but kinda close. Squint. Holy heat. Yep. Suppose we could have discarded one to the frog before that. But I also don't think I want to go down on resources here. All right, 4 cards in hand. Who's gonna miss land drops first? Blink. Invert polarity? Get out of here. Invert polarity. What year are we in? Out here inverting. No. Maybe we top deck a Kaito and I get to ninjutsu this back to my hand. Damn it. Not the first time in Magic's history that a Jace the Mind Sculptor has been lightning bolted. Alright. Just jam a frog and we'll sink into stupor, whatever counterspell they throw at it. Technically in hand. Okay, on to game 3. Is there anything I'm changing up? Invert polarity was not on my radar in the slightest. And I kind of feel like I want to bring the forces back in. Probably over another Oculus. I think I'm just going to go like down an Oculus, down an Unearth. Maybe a Thought Scour instead. Bring Consider back in. Down on Earth. Back another Thought Scour. You have a Grixis Wizards list I can see. Well, the list I'm working on is definitely not something that has like posted any sort of league results for me at all. but I'm trying to go more in on Murktide in Grixis, just because I think like the biggest issue the deck runs into is not being able to close out games at all. So I really want like a better top end than just Snap Bolt. Not that Snap Bolt is awful, it's just not where I would want to be. Apparently I'm awful. All you, nobody else. I'm gonna go ahead and fire off this Thoughtseize. I've got like a bunch of decent stuff if they've got a good card here. BV. BV. Have you tried Kefka? No, I don't even know what Kefka is. I know I saw Dingo post like a thumbnail of trying it, but I could not tell you what the card actually does. Okay. Chase down, VV down. Play out a frog, say go. I don't think you have to do the parentheses. I think you can just hit one. Kefka, Court Mage, Legendary Creature, 4/5. I need to go see the Scry fall on this. 5 mana, 4/5. Enters or attacks. Each player discards a card. Then you draw a card for each card type among cards discarded this way. 8 mana. Each opponent sacks a permanent of their choice. Transform it. Comes a 5/7. Whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards. That looks awful. 5 mana ETB. Everybody discards. You redraw at least one, possibly two. See the new warp creature that lets you cap on turn 1? I did not. We're gonna jam this Murktide out while they've got Soul Guide Lantern sitting up. Gotta shut that off a little bit. Thunder Trap Trainer. Reveals an Unholy Heat. So we're gonna go Fatal Push, the Thunder Trap, play a frog, discard our island, and exile everything from the yard to grow this Murktide out of Unholy Heat range. Plus get in a couple extra points of damage. Hopefully this means that they've got to like point double removal spells at the Murktide if they want to kill it. Conveniently leaves the frog alive. Or they got to point a removal spell at the frog and leave the Murktide alive. Either one we will take. Plus, if they do have to discard, or if they do have to use the Unholy Heat on the frog, there's like a reasonable chance that they won't have double removal spells to kill the Murktide. To the Grixis list again when you have time. Like, you still understand there's nothing special about that Grixis list, right? Like, I'm sitting here saying to everybody, I have no results with that list. It has not done anything. There is no, like, oh my god, this list is great. There is no reason to play that list. Okay, so they've got Unholy Heat on the frog, Sink into Stupor on the Murktide. Kinda sucks. Maybe they get greedy and like heat, snap, heat the Murktide. But you want to do all this now before I have a chance to draw. Bumping the knight from the top rope. That'd be dope. That is not any of the aforementioned options, unless they hit a what? What are we doing? I thought this was a second heat that they got. They heated my frog and then thunder trapped and revealed the second heat, right? Let's go rewind it back. Reveals Unholy Heat with Thunder Trap Trainer's ability. Turn 5, I push the Thunder Trap, cast a frog, exiled to grow the first Murktide. Okay, they did cast Unholy Heat on the first stuff one. Behind the scenes. I don't actually think that, but I'm gonna say it. Because I think like 3-0 we got matched up against somebody that was 0-0 in the league. And like if matchmaking was that serious.
Oh! Why does it have to be this stupid deck for the trophy? No! What are we doing with it? Like you're telling me there's not an algorithm in place that says, oh, these kind of decks normally lose to this. You cannot convince me. Not in a million years can you not convince me there isn't an algorithm. When it's just delay, 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 worst possible matchup. I refuse to accept any other explanations. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I call this justice. All this justice. Call this lack of justice. All this actual, factual, grade A bullshit. All right. I need a turn. Turn or like 7 without interaction. Like, their blind draws are just mono skyclave apparitions. Just call it a day. What does it look like I'm trying to do? You think I want to be here? You think I want to be counterspelling Ghost Quarters? Or counterspelling Crucible of Worlds? Because I don't.
I'm gonna wake up some neighbors if I trophy this match. If I end up getting the win over this, like, there's gonna be screaming like nobody's business. Want to see if they go for like an ephemerate before I decide on this Undercity. And I think there's a pretty good likelihood they're going to ghost quarter me. So I'm just kind of keeping whatever on top. Yep. Feel good about yourself. Like a man. So I know they've got Witch Enchanter. I think I just play out the frog. It beats Witch Enchanter as a blocker, and I don't think I'm doing much else. Pray they don't have like a Wrath of God in the main, but I wouldn't be shocked. Just scoop. Just go to game 2. Like, I could have held up Stern Scolding for Witch Enchanter as a blocker, but if they just played Ghost Quarter and went after the island and then, like, had anything else, I wasn't doing anything. Deck, I'm well aware there's no basic lands left. Come on. Out of here. Drawn triple Skyclave Apparition. God, are you saying we have a chance? Can't target anything with that. No ephemerate. No ephemerate. No ephemerate. No ephemerate. Please just die. Just die. What the ever living fuck are we doing? Triple Skyclave Apparition, Path to Exile. Yeah, I know. There's no lands left. Fourth Skyclave Apparition. Is the most just toxic thing I have ever seen in my life. Rips all 4 fucking Skyclave apparitions off the top 2. No more fetchables in the deck, right? Watery Grave, Undercity, Undercity, Swamp, Island, Island. They drew something else in there somewhere. When I thought seized, it was Ghost Quarter, Demolition Field, Crucible. They drew another Plains and an unknown in hand. But otherwise, yeah, it was Skyclave, 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 Path to Exile, White Orchid Phantom, Plains, and then one more unknown. Just so I can save that for later. I have no idea what you're supposed to do against that. I don't think there is anything, but I'm sideboarding here. Like, I like to think that I do a pretty good job of not getting tilted, but that game was frustrating. That game was very, very frustrating. Y'all are gonna let me have to let me have that one. Well, I think the hope is that they aren't able to path or skyclave it very easily. Or they can path, but not skyclave too easily. because they probably aren't going to have double white if you're shutting off all of like the demolition fields and field of ruins and whatnot. Ghost quarters. That's a couple cards down, I guess. If maybe we can get an Oculus into play. Which I think I would rather go for an Oculus than a Murktide here. I don't know what Elder Spirit I have pissed off today, but I'm kind of need them to get over it. Like, I'm sorry that whatever happened to you today sucked, but stop letting all of my lands get strip mined, please. I'm going for Cling to Dust here instead of just Murktide hold up counterspell. Because with Ghost Quarter taking me down to just a basic swamp, I'm not going to be able to hold up counterspell anyway. So there's not really a reason to try to hold up counterspell. It can just stop me from holding up counterspell. Hard cast Solitude. That's why we're not Ghost Quartering. Okay. I know that I can Fatal Push my own Murktide to get additional triggers. Or be able to like cast another Murktide. But I don't think that's the point of the game I'm at the moment. I think I want to just like make them deal with this Murktide or die. And then I can have a follow-up Murktide after that. Justice. Justice. Stupid Skyclave Apparition, Celestial Purge. Okay, one more, all the marbles. I don't think I want Harbinger on the draw. I haven't seen any number of ephemerates yet. So I really don't know if they're on ephemerate or not. I don't think I want to get flooded on 3 drops. All right. Come on, good hand. Thoughtseize into Frog Force. Opponent mulliganed, but they've got so many answers to Frog. They've got Skyclave Apparition, Celestial Purge, March of Otherworldly Light we've all seen. I don't really think I can keep a hand that's just relying on Frog and like nothing else. Plus, if I go Frog on 2, they have Skyclave Apparition on 3. So I would have to wait until 3 for Frog. This is mold to 6. It's not great. I think it's better than the 7 because it does have like a few different options. Maybe we get to Thought Scour over something. We still need the second land, obviously, but I was gonna say if they go for like a knight here, we could Stern Scolding. Okay. Never didn't have it. Never in my life have I been concerned about hitting the second land or the third. I'm counterspelling this. I don't think there's like anything else they're doing here that I really care about. But sure. Clearly wanted it more. Opponent, you have activated my trap card. I need to find a Murktide, like, now. Now. Unless they're just gonna sit on this relic and try to like outvalue with that. I'm gonna choose not to search off this. Seems a little bit weird, but with the double ghost quarter, I kind of like saving some lands in the deck. Maybe it makes them go for an awkward play of like ghost quartering at an inopportune time. All right, little frog. I need you, buddy. I need you to find me a Murktide. Not a Murktide, but pretty good. Play out the Flooded Strand here, so if they do go for Ghost Quarter, I guess I can't do much off of it anyway. Record scratch. Yep. What are we taking? We are taking the... I think I agree with that. Manifest is not a token, no. They can take the manifest if they want. It's just considered 0 CMC. So if they take the manifest, you don't get anything back after the Skyclave leaves. I don't know if it identifies the card under Skyclave. It might. But it definitely is not a token. Skyclave cares about the card, not the target. So we get a 7/7 if Skyclave took a manifested Murktide. Alright, that's good to know, actually. I didn't know if it cared about it, like, when it was exiled, or if it cared about it while it's in exile with the Skyclave. But it makes sense since it's two separate triggers, right? Like when the second trigger goes on the stack, it says, hey, this is the CMC of the card in exile, and that's the only time it cares about what it is while it's in exile. First half only cares about what it is while it's on the battlefield. So situations like this are why I chose to keep extra basics in the deck instead of fetching them out earlier. So I'm assuming they've got... Ah, yes, Karn the Great Creator. That was my assumption. I'm lying. That was not my assumption. I want to draw the card off of Frog because now that I know they have late into game 3, Karn the Great Creator, I want to give myself a chance to draw another counterspell or Ceremonious Rejection or something in case they go like Karn Bridge. Also, I am shocked that we just got like late into game 3 before Karn or Ephemerate made an appearance. Kind of cray cray. Well, they hit the Solitude. Nice. Both of those off the board. Unearth the Trespasser, exile the Solitude. And I just need you to whiff this turn. This turn, please, for the love of all things just and holy, whiff. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Jesus. All right. I guess for all the people that came in at the tail end of the challenge and asked if Oculus was just better, we've solved the question. Oculus, clearly the superior Murktide variant of some variety. Beating Orzhov in that league, beating mono white land destruction in that league. Giving me migraines for the first time in my life. That was sweet. What did we beat? We beat Boros, Orzhov, mono white land destruction, blue red wizards, and I don't remember the last one to save my life. Something. I don't know. Either way. Oh God. Were there any changes I would make? Main deck. So I've been on like almost the exact same main deck for a minute and really liked it. Cling to Dust could be another consider or vice versa. I don't think either one of those really swing things too much. But the rest of the main deck, I really, really enjoy. I think it's really consistent, really strong. The sideboard, Mystical Dispute could come out. Illness in the Ranks, I still haven't seen, so I don't know if it's actually good or not. I know somebody in the chat had said that they're running 2 Nihil Spellbomb in the main. I think that's too much. I don't think, especially with like Graveyard Trespasser in the main, I don't feel like I need more Grave Hate. So this is just like, or with the Graveyard Trespassers and the Cling to Dust, I don't feel like I need more Grave Hate. So this is just kind of like a little bit extra insurance. But Mystical Dispute could very well be something different if you didn't want to run it. But online, especially right now, I think there's a lot of Grixis Shadow, a lot of Grixis Wizards or Blue-Red X Wizards piles. So having the Mystical Dispute has definitely gotten some mileage. Children's Edict has been kind of lackluster. I want an extra removal spell, but I don't think the inability to target off of Children's Edict is doing it for me. So I think I would rather that spot be some extra targeted spot removal. Like we kind of joked around with, I think it was Ray of Enfeeblement earlier that Mattia had run. I don't know how it is, but could be an idea. Don't like Bitter Triumph. I don't, because it's a lot worse of a top deck than Shoot the Sheriff is. Every time I see Bitter Triumph, it's like turn 7, my opponent just escaped a Flage. I'm at like 3 life already with no cards in hand, and I hit Bitter Triumph, and I'm just like, well, shit. There's those few corner cases where you get to use it on 2, discard an Oculus, untap, unearth, plus cast a counterspell that feel good. but there's an equal number of times that you have a Bitter Triumph on 2, and you could discard an Oculus, or you could just hard cast the Oculus on 3 and start going to town with it. And if they kill it, you still have that unearth to get it back, but you probably got like an extra token for free. And I don't think those times that you have Oculus in hand plus unearth plus counterspell are frequent enough to make me want to run Bitter Triumph.